Hello and welcome to today's lesson. My name is Martin Motnik and I'm going to teach you how to play Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. This song is a lot of fun to play and we're going to learn a few new terms like arpeggio or hammer-on, which are a lot of fun and very useful when you're playing. So let's get started. The song starts off with a very easy but recognizable riff, which is based on two chords, which is the A minor chord and the F major chord, which we're gonna play either as a bar chord or you can just play like that without pressing down the E and the B string, since we're not gonna play them right now. So it starts off with A minor, and now here's what we do. We're gonna pick through the notes of that chord. So, and whenever you do that, when you're not strumming, if you go one note at a time, it's called an arpeggio. Or actually, to play an arpeggiated A minor chord, it would be like this. So whenever you hear something like this, that's called arpeggio. So we play these notes as this chord as an arpeggio, and then we're gonna do something which I also already mentioned. It's called a hammer-on. So you start playing the A minor chord. You play the open A string, then you play the second fret on the D string, then you play the open B string. You skip the G string, you play the open B string, and then while that note is ringing, you put your index finger on the first fret of the B string without plucking it one more time. So like this. And that's called a hammer-on, because your finger falls like a hammer onto the vibrating string. So that's called a hammer-on. So this is how the whole riff goes. Or the first chord, the first measure of that riff. Let's play this together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Now the second chord is the same concept. It's based on an F major chord. So you put your index finger on the first fret of the E string, then you put your pinky onto the third fret of the A string, then you skip the D string, you play an open G string, and then you do a hammer-on with your middle finger. So it sounds like this. Or if you feel more comfortable, you can also use the ring finger instead of the pinky for the third fret. So this is how the song starts. It starts with one time through that A minor, and then goes to F major. Then repeat. And this is the intro. And the verse just continues that. Goes back and forth again. Does it twice. So the next chord is the C major chord. And we play arpeggio through that too. So it's gonna sound like this. This is the first chord is the C major. So you play third fret on the A string, second fret on the D string, then the open E string, and then the first fret on the B string. And you're gonna have to do this fairly quick because it's only half a bar, half a measure. So those are eighth notes. 1 and 2 and. Then the next chord is a G major. The same thing you played as an arpeggio too. And here you play the 3rd fret on the E string, then the open D string, then the 3rd fret on the E string, and then the open B string. And the same thing, 8th notes. So it goes 3 and 4 and. So when you play those 2 chords together, it sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the next chord is an F major, which is, if you remember, that bar chord. So 3rd fret on the D string, 3rd finger too, ring finger. 2nd fret on the G string. And then you play a bar chord, so you cover the 1st fret of the E and the B string with your index finger. And you play that as arpeggio too. So you play G string, D string, G string, E string, and B string. So it goes like this. And the next chord is a D minor, and then we're only gonna play an arpeggio on the first half, and the last 2 notes we strum them at the same time. So when you grab a D minor chord, you play open D string, then the 2nd fret of the G string, and then the 1st fret on the E string and the 3rd fret on the B string. You strum them at the same time. So it goes like. So when you play those 4 chords together, it sounds like this. Okay, I want to do this together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so these are the parts for the verse. Now the next part is the pre-chorus. In the pre-chorus, we switch from the arpeggio, from the picking, to the strumming. And the pre-chorus consists only of 2 chords, which is the A minor chord, and then the F major 7 chord, which is basically an F major chord with the open E string. So it sounds like this. So switching between those 2 chords is actually very easy. You play the A minor chord, and then all you do is just put your pinky down on the 3rd fret of the D string. And it goes back and forth. So these are the only 2 chords that we need in the pre-chorus. Now let's take a look at the strum pattern. So far, all the strumming patterns that we had were based on 8th notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And usually you would strum it that you would got a down strum on the 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then an up strum on the upbeats, which are the ands, the 8th notes in between. So you would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now in this strum pattern, we have to think in 16th notes, which is half as long as an 8th note. So 1/4 note consists of 4 16th notes. And we count that as 1A and A. 1A and A, 2A and A, 3A and A, 4A and A. And in this case, the down strums are gonna cover the numbers, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and the ands. And the 16th notes in between the A, you're gonna play up strums. So you play 1A and A, 2A and A, 3A and A, 4A and A. And this is the basis for this strum pattern. So this strum pattern goes like this. It plays a down strum on the 1. And always remember the golden rule, keep your hand in motion. So let's say in this 16th note, it would only always go 1A and A. So in this case, you play on the 1 a down strum, you go up and down, you don't play. Then you play an up strum on the A before the 2, and then you play a down strum on the 2. You don't play on the 16th after the 2, you play down on the 2 and, then you don't play for the A and the 3, then you play on the 3A up, and 3 and down, you don't play, then down on the 4, and then down on the 4 and up on the 4 in A. So I know this sounds a little confusing right now, but when you play it, or when you hear it, it's gonna make a lot of sense. So when you play it slow, it sounds like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't forget to tap your foot. Alright, so this is the strumming pattern for the pre-chorus. So it's 1 bar A minor and then 1 bar F major 7. So it's gonna sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wanna play along? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the pre-chorus. Now let's move on to the chorus. The chorus is also being strummed, but before we look at that strum pattern, let's look at the chords that are being used. It starts off with a C major chord. Then the next chord is a G major. Then a D minor. And then an A minor. And the chord pattern is it's a little simpler than in the pre-chorus. It starts with a down strum on the 1. Basically, the chorus is all played with only down strums, so you don't even have to think about playing anything on up strums. Just remember the rhythm and play everything with down strums. So it goes down on the 1, and down on the 1 and, on the 2, on the 3, and on the 4. So you also heard what a chord change happens. So it changes on the 3 from the C to the G major. So it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the next bar is a D minor, an A minor, and each one is just a down strum on every beat. So a down strum on the 1, 1 on the 2, and then A minor down strum on the 3 and on the 4. So it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the next bar starts with the C major again, and it's a down strum on the 1 and on the 2, and then a G major on the 3, and then on the 3 and, which on the recording it goes along with the drums. The drums play accents there, and so the guitar follows that. So 3 and then a D minor on the 4 and, which again is an accent on the drums, which is like an anticipated hit. So when you play this bar, it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just let it ring, and then it goes back into the arpeggiated part, into the verse, and then the second chorus. So let's play the whole chorus together. Remember, C major, 1, 1 and, 2, then on the 3 with G major, 4 down strum, all down strums, D minor, and then A minor. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's play this one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't know if you noticed, but before we play that very last D minor chord and the 4 and, I stopped the strings with my palm for just a brief second, just to give it a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more effect. Might be a little much right now, just let it ring if you feel more comfortable. It's just something that you can work in later when you're really comfortable with the chords. Let's play this one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, then it goes back into the verse. And back into the pre-chorus and back to the chorus. Then there's the solo section, but we're going to skip that for now. We might do this later to explain how to play the solo. But this is all you need to play Californication on acoustic guitar by yourself. I hope you have fun. As always, practice, practice, practice. My name is Martin Motnik. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you next time.